Okay, and when your students, for example, the pianist students, are finishing their bachelor or master or PhD degree, how you recommend to continue their pianist life? How to organize their, I don't know, learning repertoire or scheduling their concerts? Because they will be like their own way.
Yeah, that's the thing, and that's often a problem with music universities or studying music in general, because you are in a very safe environment. As long as you are studying, you have regular concerts from the university supplied and so on, and suddenly you are finished and you have to jump into the cold water. This can be very challenging, and it depends. Of course, I cannot tell my students, when you are finished and you have to do so many concerts and so on regularly.
No, but
Depends what the
maybe
student wants.
to learn some new repertoire, or I don't know, because
Yes,
when you have like a
absolutely.
weekly piano lesson, then you are prepared, you are motivated, and you must be.
Yeah, if that is the reason that you were motivated to learn new repertoire, then probably it was wrong that you studied music after all. So
That's
I
true.
think it should be of course normal for the musician to go on with that after the studies. The problem or the challenge will be to be on one own, to have acquired a certain kind of compass, of a map, how to go on without someone who is guiding you somewhat.
Yeah.
And that is the big challenge, also as a teacher, of course, that you are not teaching your students for some years by telling them what to do, but by teaching them why, what to do, to ask them always themselves, and so that they are not lost and that nothing is missing actually, but they can actually swim when they are ready, when they are finishing their studies and so on. And that's a strange thing about music studies, because it's not like studying some science and at some point you objectively have some
Expertise.
finish line, yeah, and some things that you
Yeah.
acquired, and now you can start working, because that goes on forever. And I still love to meet with my old teacher, who is now far over 90,
Oh,
and just to exchange. And this way of learning goes on forever. This is what's so wonderful. What you have to learn in your usually 20s, when you're studying, is to be able to swim and to have a certain kind of vocabulary of security in some stylistical things, to know about composers, to feel home with
yeah.
books,
To
and so
know their
on.
language.
Exactly. And then to keep on their way to finding and discovering, exploring themselves, the music. So it depends, if they want to become performing artists, and of course there's another way than if they already know they want to become teachers, or both, or they want to go into the organizational part more, and maybe managing part, maybe cultural management or something. There are many ways, and it usually becomes clear while they are studying because they explore and discover themselves via music.
Okay.
And
So I thought it would be clear for you as a teacher, not for them while they are studying. So it'd be for both part clear what will be the path.
sometimes, when I get to meet some of my students the first time when they have their entrance exams, and it's a little bit like a game of luck sometimes, because you never know what can come after. You have some guts feeling, maybe here is something here, something here, and I had so many wonderful surprises already, which I never expected to happen with some of my students
Like what,
after all. So
if you can tell?
um, like some major talents, some new traits of character, of
Hmm.
personality that they did not have or did not dare to explore, and then through music they explored these new ways of being, and
Okay.
This is so wonderful when you can accompany students for a long time and discover with them together who they are through music, via
Like
music,
a,
you know.
yeah, like a journey.
Yeah, it is. It is a wonderfully constant journey, you know, and it never stops. I hope, at least. I don't think so. And
Yeah, and it's so connected, like a journey into music and life, both.
absolutely, absolutely, music is life, you know, even though it sounds very cheesy and esoteric, but I think it's true. Music is the thing, is the vehicle that brings us very close to this mystery, to what holds the world in its innermost together, you know,
Okay.
this mystery, things that we feel, that we perceive, that we think, whatever comes close to our soul is nothing that we can express in words, or sometimes even not in music. But music is a thing, that a vehicle that gets us closer to this very mystery, to this very truth of life, whatever that is, you know, whatever you want to call it.
Yeah, I know. For those who are musicians, it's very easily, or they can understand this, but for those who listen us, they will say, oh, music is so philosophic word.
Yeah.
It's like, I thought it's more like having fun, not so going so deep into things about truth, about understanding. There are a lot of things beyond
Yeah,
what people
exactly.
can see.
Beyond. That is the
Yeah,
key word, right? I mean, especially nowadays, you know, it's difficult sometimes to
yeah.
go beyond, but to go so deep, then we understand there is so much more that we don't understand or are able to express. And then we can use words to try to do it, and music sometimes even better to use
Mhm.
that. But there is something more.
Yeah, that's true. I also want to ask you if you have encountered as a soloist, as a teacher, as a chamber music player, musicians with physical or psychological injuries or symptoms.
Oh yeah, a lot. Especially psychological. I mean, in
Okay.
physical, of course, as well. Yeah. Um, but actually both, you know, and how can I say, playing an instrument, practicing an instrument, you know, can be also very harmful, of course, physically. And I don't have to tell you, you are a medical doctor, you are a specialist in all these kind of things. But even I, as a non-medicinal person, of course, realize, and also already experience it myself, that sometimes the body is just not playing along. Unfortunately, with me, it worked out in the end all well. But some people, you know, they have a lot of bad results, you know, starting with a bad posture that makes their whole future life very difficult,
Okay.
and ending with really serious damages, like you know, in your wrist, and
Mhm.
this physically and psychological. This is what we talked about in our first part of the interview, I think, a lot, this concept of how to approach career music success. If you do it in a harmful and negative way, it can be really very damaging for your mind and for your
For your body as well.
yeah, absolutely.
Mhm. Okay.
And there are those people, even very successful and well known, and you know, you think, oh, well, they have done it. They are very, very, yeah. So, some of them, you know, not all of them, but some of them really suffer a lot
Mhm.
because of
Yeah, but
that.
also about overexertion and a lot of hours of practicing. Somehow it's
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. You know, especially if it becomes a purely mechanical thing, which can be very
yes,
dangerous.
yes. I think that's the point, the key point.
Mm. Yeah,
At the
and it's
end,
also the death of music. It's also the death of awareness, you know, of spirit. because then you practice your muscle memory a lot, your passive muscle memory, if that exists. I don't know, I explain it for myself like that.
Yeah, it exists.
But it means that on stage, probably you won't be able to leave it up 100% on the passive muscle memory, because you're getting concentrated, and sometimes you realize, oh my, what am I playing? What is the next note actually? And then you cannot rely on your muscle memory purely.
Yeah, because
So,
suddenly you become focused. Your brain is active.
exactly, because you have to, since you're having a concert at the moment. So that's what we talked about in the beginning. Very important not to practice purely mechanically, even though it is very easy. It becomes very easy. That you can practice for hours, head-wise, psychologically wise, but at some point then the body starts to say, stop, for some more, for some less.
Yeah, that's true. At the end of our interview, Christopher, I would like to ask you also a very, let's say, deep question. What message would you like to convey to pianists in 2023? A thought, a message, an idea, or...
Yeah. These are the kinds of questions I'm so bad, especially when talking about it. Probably I could write an essay about that. But now spontaneously reacting to that, it is very important to really love and enjoy what you are doing, with your life. And if you are choosing to be a musician, then it is absolutely vital to be able to listen to yourself, to listen to other people, and then to enjoy it. And it is a dialectical thing, you have to be able to listen in order to enjoy it, and you enjoy it after you are able to listen to it. And both has the condition to be open, to not go into concerts with a certain kind of expectation that you want to be fulfilled because you are used to that, or you are already listening to the concert and you are not agreeing with that kind of whatever it is, because you are not fulfilled with your expectation. But to be open-minded, to like to listen to people, to diversity, and then I think the perspective of having a more happy and joyful life is much bigger than if we go in like that.
Yeah, like an arrow. Yeah, I think it's a great conclusion for our interview. So maybe this is a solution for a successful, or a solution for the challenges that pianists can face nowadays: to be open, to listen, and to enjoy it. Thank you very much, Christopher. It was great to have you today here.
Yeah, thank you so much for the invitation. I really enjoyed it a lot.